feel like a prisoner. They made me feel set free. They made me feel like a criminal. They made me feel like a king. They lifted my heart to places I'd never been, and they dragged me down back to where I began. Words can build you up, words can break you down. Start a fire in our hearts, put it out. So let my words be alive, let my words be true. I don't want to say a word unless it points the world back to you. You can heal the heartache, speak over the fear. God, your voice is the only thing that we need to hear. Words can build us up, words can break you down. Start a fire in our hearts, put it out. So let my words be alive, let my words be true. I don't want to say a word unless it points the world back to you. And let the words I say be the sound of your grace. I don't want to say a word unless it points the world back to you.
So what is tithing time? Psalm 39, beginning in verse 4, says, Lord, remind me how brief my time on earth will be. Remind me that my days are numbered, how fleeting my life is. You have made my life no longer than the width of my hand. My entire lifetime is just a moment to you. At best, each of us is just a breath. Think of loved ones past. Think of family members that have died and gone on, and how it seems as if their being here or your childhood with them was just yesterday. So teach us to number our days, that we may present to you a heart of wisdom. Each of us is only given so much time, and everybody starts the day out with the same amount. And it's a precious gift with an enormous potential. See, a lot of times when you mention tithing, all people want to think about is money. You have something far more precious than money, and that is time. Intimacy with God is priority one in tithing. It's not about the size of the check you write. It is about this desire to have an intimacy with God, as recognizing Him as everything as it relates to our time on this earth. Second element of tithing time is investing our time in our families. See, God is first, and then comes this beautiful thing called family. It can be a nuclear family, your children, your parents, or whatever. It can be a church family. The people that God has put in your lives that so often take the place of distant siblings and family members who don't care. I have far closer relationships, far closer relationships, more intimate, loving relationships with members of my church family than I do with my own family. Of taking time with family seriously. Not happenstance, not just what happens to fall through the cracks out of my busy schedule and day, but actually seeing this investment, this tithing of love to my family to be very, very important. The church needs to stand up in this love for family and love for each other and challenge each other to choose, to make choices that demonstrate that God comes first. It's not going to happen with weakness. See, if we begin to do it right, if we begin to tithe our time in this sense of submission and worship, if we tithe our time in this thing called the church by choosing to love each other regardless. Not if you meet my criteria, not if you do everything the way I want you to, not if you walk in lockstep, but choosing to see this individual as being a special creation by God that God has put in our midst, that we might see something unique about God, and we begin to receive each other that way in holiness, God begins to do very powerful things in that group. To apply what I've said today is Jesus Christ must be Lord of life. Jesus Christ must have been invited into the heart. And through the risk of faith, we have submitted to the obedience to that Christ. If He's not real in your life, if He's not real in your heart, if He's just one other holy man amongst a ton of holy men of history, then you'll never comprehend what it means to tithe. Because tithing is God's heart. Tithing is God's heart placed in our heart to reflect Him, to reach a lost world. Have you prayed to receive Him? Is it time in your life? Have you been beat up enough? Have you been left by the roadside for dead way too many times? Is it time for this Jesus Christ to become serious, to become life? Not Sunday morning between 10:30 and 11:30, but to become your reason for living. The choice is yours. What would it be?
Point the world back to you. Words can build you up, words can break you down. Start a fire in our hearts or put it out.